Edmund Kemper was born in Burbank, California. He had a troubled upbringing and a strained relationship with his mother, who was emotionally abusive towards him. Kemper had a fascination with death from an early age and exhibited violent tendencies, including torturing and killing small animals. Crimes. Edmund Kemper's crimes spanned from 1964 to 1973 and primarily targeted young women. His victims included hitchhikers, his own mother, and her friends. Kemper's modus operandi involved picking up victims, usually young female students, offering them a ride and then assaulting, killing, and mutilating them. He often engaged in necrophilia and dismemberment of the bodies. Capture and legal proceedings. Kemper's crimes came to an end in 1973, when he called the police and confessed to murdering his mother and her friend. He was arrested and stood trial for the murders of 10 people, including his family members. Kemper was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. Psychological profile. Edmund Kemper was diagnosed with multiple mental disorders, including antisocial personality disorder and paraphilia. He exhibited psychopathic traits such as a lack of empathy, shallow emotions, and a tendency towards violence and manipulation. Kemper's crimes reflected his deep-seated anger, desire for control, and deviant sexual fantasies. Legacy. Edmund Kemper's case garnered significant media attention due to the gruesome nature of his crimes and his articulate and cooperative nature during interviews. His story has been featured in documentaries, books, and television shows, contributing to his infamous reputation as one of America's most notorious serial killers. Welcome to our video. Brace yourself for an immersive exploration into the twisted psyche of one of America's most notorious serial killers. Here are a couple of theories surrounding Edmund Kemper. The maternal influence theory. One theory focuses on the role of Edmund Kemper's tumultuous relationship with his mother in shaping his violent tendencies. Kemper's mother was emotionally abusive towards him, constantly belittling and berating him. This theory suggests that Kemper's crimes may have been driven, at least in part, by a deep-seated resentment towards his mother. Killing and dismembering women, particularly those who resembled his mother, could have served as a twisted form of revenge and exertion of control over the women he targeted. The power and control theory. Another theory examines the power dynamics and control aspect of Edmund Kemper's crimes. Kemper, standing over 6 feet tall and possessing a large stature, may have felt a need to assert dominance and control over others. By picking up vulnerable hitchhikers or targeting women who were smaller and physically weaker than him, Kemper could exercise a sense of power and control, fulfilling his sadistic desires. This theory suggests that his acts of violence and mutilation were motivated by a need to exert power and dominance over his victims. These theories aim to provide possible insights into the motivations and psychological factors that may have influenced Edmund Kemper's actions. However, it is important to note that the study of serial killers is complex, and definitive explanations may be elusive. The true motivations and underlying psychological complexities of individuals like Edmund Kemper can be challenging to fully comprehend. Speculating on what would have happened if Edmund Kemper hadn't existed involves contemplating a hypothetical scenario that can never be definitively known. However, we can explore some potential outcomes. Lives saved. If Edmund Kemper hadn't existed, the lives of his victims would have been spared. The young women he brutally murdered and mutilated, as well as his own mother and her friend, would have had the opportunity to live their lives free from the horrific fate they suffered at his hands. Their families and loved ones would have been spared the pain and grief caused by his crimes. Prevention of future crimes. Without Edmund Kemper's presence, the likelihood of additional victims falling prey to his sadistic acts would have been significantly reduced. His absence would have disrupted the pattern of his crimes and potentially prevented further acts of violence, including acts of necrophilia and dismemberment. Impact on criminal investigations. Edmund Kemper's case played a role in shaping law enforcement approaches to serial killers and criminal profiling. If he hadn't existed, the specific insights gained from his case might have been missed or delayed. The knowledge and techniques developed through the investigation and analysis of his crimes could have been affected, potentially influencing future investigations into similar cases. Cultural influence. Edmund Kemper's case garnered significant media attention and became part of true crime lore. If he hadn't existed, the specific cultural impact surrounding his story might have been different. Documentaries, books, and films inspired by his life might have taken on different themes or focused on other notorious criminals. It is important to remember that any speculation about alternative outcomes is purely hypothetical. Edmund Kemper's crimes caused immense pain and suffering, and our focus should remain on the victims and their families. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey into the dark realm of serial killers. We hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and a deeper understanding of these complex and haunting figures. If you found this content thought-provoking and informative, we would greatly appreciate your likes, comments, and shares